Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Unstoppable Pursuit podcast, where we're pushing the limits in business, life, and health. I stuttered right there. That was funny. All right, today, episode 12, we're talking about never settling. Never settle. My name's Brian Benson, and to the right of me, well, he wears his widow's peak better than Eddie Munster. Mike Stahl. Sorry, I couldn't keep that.
What's up, everybody?
Oh, that had me laughing.
I'm going to get started with the Dominator Day reading before Brian ruins my reputation a little bit further. So here we go, y'all. Brian and I have 5 rules when it comes to never settling in life. Number 1, never settle for status quo. Number 2, never settle for second place. Number 3, never settle for the bare minimum. Number 4, never settle for a job you hate. And number 5, never settle for someone else's dream.
Oh, man, I love it, man, because that's what the Unstoppable Pursuit is all about. We're never settling in business, we're never settling in life, and we're never settling in health. We are on the constant move. We are ready to get better every single day. Mike and I push ourselves every day to get better in all aspects, but let's dig into the first topic here. Never settle for status quo, Mike. Why not?
The first thing I think of with this is I think that a lot of people, we're brought up and we're raised to think that everyone needs to go to a 9-to-5 job or an 8-to-4 job, and that you need to stand in line and don't speak out and don't go against the grain and basically kind of conform to what society thinks you should conform to, like quote unquote the American dream. But that's not necessarily for everybody. There are a lot of people that they want to blaze their own path, blaze their own trail, step out of line. They want to disrupt their industry, which is, I know you can speak more of with that. And I just, when I think of, never settling for status quo, is you really shouldn't want to be like everyone else. You should want to just be yourself, like don't feel that you need to have a set hour time during the day of when you work to, be legit or be taken seriously.
Yeah, I agree, and I want to kind of just, for me, it's like, don't settle for status quo for yourself. Like, this is our only chance, our only shot. This is our one at bat in life, as far as we all know, right? And this is our only shot that we get. So don't be the mediocre self, like be your best self. Don't settle for status quo. Don't settle for the institutionalize like yourself. Don't let that happen. Don't let people, nobody puts baby in a corner, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Don't allow yourself to be settling for that status quo. You are better than that. You are more unique than that. You have so much more value than that, and you can do whatever you want. I can promise you that, but have that belief system that you're going to make it and you're going to get there no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, accepting status quo, you're essentially doing what everyone else is doing. You're just going to blend in, which means that when you blend in, no one's going to remember who you are. You're probably not doing anything substantial. People probably aren't talking about you, whether it's good or bad. Like I've always said, well, if they're talking about you, some of it may be good, some of it may be bad, but you are doing something if you're on somebody's radar. And again, so if you're accepting status quo, accepting this is reality, then you're not going to do anything with your life. You're just going to be mediocre.
Yeah, don't accept that because you aren't here to have that happen. The universe wants you to be successful. Everybody wants you to. The things that are happening, it is your birthright to be successful and to have these things come into your life. And whether you are in a career where you want to be like the CEO, or you are an entrepreneur building your own business, like just don't accept the status quo. If you like, I guess in the business world, in the corporate world, strive to be the top. Strive to be the top. Don't just say, well, I load trucks, or like I do this, like, and be okay with that. Like, take it a step further. Push your limits.
Yeah. I think that when I hear status quo, I think to myself, like, you're basically a walking zombie. You're going through the motions.
We talk about the dead, a lot of dead people walking around.
Oh, yeah, a lot of dead people walking around just acting like zombies, accepting status quo. Like, in regards to health and wellness, like Mr. Olympia, who wins a bodybuilding contest every day, or every year, he would say, well, if I accepted status quo, then I just have a physique like everyone else. No, I want to be the best in the world. So I'm going to not accept status quo, and I'm going to do 2-a-days, and I'm going to watch every little ounce of food that I put into my body. So it's the attention to details that will prevent you from accepting status quo.
Yeah, question status quo, you know, you define status quo for yourself. Don't let anybody else tell you what status quo should be. You define it for yourself. This is your life. Screw what other people think. I mean, you know.
Moving on to number two.
Sorry,
man.
number two.
Right, tell the listeners how you really feel.
This one is never settle for second place. You know, Mike's got some great analogies and stories around this, so I'm going to let him take this one away for the time being.
I think that for our second point of never settling, I think that that there's a quote that people say is, do you remember who got second place? And they say no, and he says, neither do I. Mm-hmm. Usually no one ever remembers second place. And the best analogy that I can use is when you think of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, during his era, you really don't, I mean, you have an idea of who he played against and who he played with and whatnot, but like everyone remembers Michael Jordan. They don't remember typically who lost to Michael Jordan every single year in the NBA championship, or who got second in the NBA scoring title, or you know who got second team All NBA when Jordan was getting first team All NBA. Mm-hmm. So again, not accepting status quo. And just pushing the boundaries pushing the limits in business, life, and health. I mean, exactly what our podcast is about. And not accepting second place. And the famous quote from Talladega Nights. did you know
I was hoping you were going to go there.
How did you know that? Wow. Okay. Ricky Bobby said, no, yeah, it was Ricky Bobby. He said, if you ain't first, you're last.
That's so true, baby. That is so true. And you're right, man. I mean, the Ricky Bobby thing is a very true statement, because you're right. You will not be as memorable, I am sure of it, when you're in second place. I mean, nobody's talking about everyone's talking about the Cavs. I don't even remember who the Cavs beat, to be honest with you. All right, it's Golden State Warriors, but still, it was awesome. Anyway, you're right. I mean, you don't allow yourself to just sit back and watch other people excel and succeed above you, because you can do it too. If anybody can, if I can do it, and Michael Jordan can do it, if anybody can do it, like, you can do it for sure. There's people that are less talented than you that are making it big, and I'm telling you, big. There's better singers that are probably sitting in the karaoke bar just crushing it. You know what I'm saying? But they accepted status quo, one, and two, they settle for second place. They said, you know what, whatever. And
that's very true.
they're not allowing themselves to say, you know what, I can be first. Why not me?
Yeah. And I'm sure everyone that's either watching or listening to this, including myself and Brian, like, I mean, it's not like we've never been in second place before. Like, we know what it's like to be in second place.
Sucks.
And so I don't forget that. Like, now, the idea of second place is what motivates me, and I want to take a negative to a positive. You're so close. You know, like maybe you need to iron out the fine details to get into first place next time, or you know, extra practice sessions, or watching what you eat a little bit more. I mean, it's those little details of, to be extraordinary, you need to do the ordinary things day in and day out at a high level.
So true, man. So true. I love that, dude. I love that so much. Okay, the next one is never settle for the bare minimum. Oh, man. You know, how many people out there, seriously, and I've done this in my life, and I'll admit it, I have actually settled for the bare minimum. I did it in school all the time. I allowed myself to when I got an assignment, to not put my best foot forward. I allowed myself to say, I'm just going to do this. This will be enough to get by. And you know what I learned? You will always be in second place if you do that. If you do not put your best foot forward and try in every single thing that you do, I promise you, you will regret it, and you will not like the result. Do not settle for the bare minimum. Always go above and beyond in everything that you do. Even if you don't like it, guess what? That's called hard work. Do it, and you can win. I promise you that.
Yeah, I think that what you just said, I think that really resonates, because I think that no one would really feel truly satisfied and fulfilled with the results that come from doing the bare minimum. Like, I feel like I'm slacking or I'm half-assing it if I'm doing the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And frankly, I swear, I say this to Brian all the time, like, I am deathly afraid of mediocrity. Like, that scares me, of living a mediocre life, that I don't do anything, I don't impact anyone, I've always gotten second place, and just settling in life. Like, you should be afraid of doing the bare minimum, because trust me, you're not going to like the results. You're going to get a C instead of an A. You know, you're going to get knocked out of the playoffs instead of winning the championship. You're going to stand up on a stage, if let's say you're a bodybuilder, and you're going to get laughed off stage because you are not in shape visually compared to what the other bodybuilders are. I mean, I could come up with a million different examples, but if you're not afraid of mediocrity, then you need to really check yourself.
I agree, and anybody who's ever been the best in anything, in their sport, in their school, and in their corporate world, like, these people did not do the bare minimum. They went above and beyond. If LeBron or one of these bodybuilders, if Arnold did, like, you know, a set of 10 and felt like he could go to a set of 15 or whatever. Yeah. I mean, and then left because he's just like, you know, that was a pretty decent workout. Maybe I could just go. Didn't push himself, settled for the bare minimum. He wouldn't be where he is today. None of these guys would. None of these guys or girls would be there at all. I mean, it's just the reality of it. They pushed themselves beyond the limits of what they thought they could do and said the bare minimum sucks, mediocrity sucks, and I refuse to live that life.
Yeah, and Michael Jordan, he was famous because, and he's the perfect example of not settling for the bare minimum. Michael Jordan actually used to go into the gym and get a full body weightlifting workout in on the morning of a game that he had at night. Like, he was lifting weights in the morning before he had a game at night, and he said that he practiced so hard in practice that often the games felt easier to him. I mean, that's how much work he put in, and was not willing to settle for second place, status quo, or doing the bare minimum. It wasn't even an option.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So let's go on to the next point. This next point is something I'm going to probably get all heated about, and maybe you will too.
Get ready, y'all. Get ready.
This is never settle for a job you hate. My gosh, my gosh, my gosh. I have so many people and friends who tell me that they want to do this, or they want to start this business, or they want to work on this, or they have this really cool idea, but they never, ever do it because they just settle for this. I'm in this accounting job. I'm getting paid pretty well. I got decent benefits. Oh, like the pension's great at the end.
I think of a million different excuses.
It's excuses. It is excuses. And I have just a quick story on a couple that I listened to this interview of them that did this. They found their passion project and turned it into a business. And it's called A Heirloom, and this was a couple who loved creating custom cutting boards and cutting them into shapes of states: Ohio, Michigan, New Jersey, Florida. So they would make these, they put it on Etsy, people started to love it. The next thing you know, they're doing $1 million in revenue. $1 million in revenue. And it's like, but that was their passion project. The husband was like, I just love making these. I love making these custom cutting boards. And it became...
I liked my 9 to 5.
I know. It's the excuses are killing me. So I'm just sick of it. People don't think they can turn their passion to business. They can. You can. You truly can.
I mean, the whole reason why I even wrote my book, Dominate Your Day, was because personally for me, I was in a job that I hated. It was high salary. I had 401k benefits. PTO buyback, I got bonuses. I mean, I was making some good loot. I had a beautiful, beautiful house, but at one point in time, I was just so unhappy with the job because the owner had no goals for the company. All the employees were depressed and not motivated, and it was just like a very toxic environment to be around. So finally, one day, I was just like, you know what? I hate this job so much because I have other things that I want to pursue that I'm willing to give up everything that I've worked so hard for. So I went out on my own, I sold my house, I sold my truck, I quit the job, you know, and here I am, I'd say, what has it been? 2 years later, I'm still not where I want to be. Trust me. I'll tell you that right now. I'm still not where I want to be, but I'm fighting tooth and nail every single day to pursue my passion project, like this podcast, and teaming up with like-minded people like Brian, and trying to crush it every single day, because I'm not going to settle for going into an environment in a facility and being around people that hate their lives.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. When you are understand something like, you need to create your personal mission statement. We talk about this all the time. Like, be in the job that aligns with who you are and who you want to be. Like, stop just settling for things because of the benefits and the pay and things. Like, know your value. Know who you are. Like, go add value to an organization or start a business that is going to empower you for the person that you are and your unique abilities. Like, if you hate it, get the hell out. Like, the excuse after excuse after excuse. And I can't, honestly, this keeps me up at night, knowing that people are settling for status quo, second place, bare minimum, and the job they hate. I can't, when my friends come up to me and they say to me, oh man, like, I hate this job. Oh, I can't, you know what the biggest one is? I can't wait for the weekend. Oh, is it finally Friday? It's like, man, oh man, when we were running this on Saturdays, I was like, I can't wait for the weekend, baby. I was pumped. But like, so many people just, they wait for the weekends. If you live for the weekends and live for vacations and live for that time off, then get out. Go do something you do love and do care about and do want to do every single day. Don't wake up excited. This is your only chance at life, and I will repeat that over and over. This is your one shot. You don't get another one. This is it.
And think about it. Majority of your life is spent probably at work. I mean, let's assume everyone's at least a minimum 8 hours. I mean, entrepreneurs like ourselves are upwards of 12 or 10, 12, sometimes even 16-hour days. So, I mean, if I'm going to spend majority of my time working during my life, dude, I better love my job.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to be freaking miserable with my life. I'm going to be unhappy, and I'm going to make the people around me feel the same exact way.
Yeah, and when you're around that negativity, it brings you down, it brings everybody out, and then you're negative, and then you go home, and then you talk to your spouse or your friends, and then you're just auras negativity to everybody around you. And I mean, I'm sorry, but I've heard that enough. I got to cut those people out of my life. So if you're one of my friends that is just bitching about your job, like, I love you, but I can't have you hanging around me because it will.
Don't hang out around us, but keep listening to our podcast and liking and sharing on social media.
We are on the iTunes platform now. So, all right. And the last one here is never settle for someone else's dream. I love that. What's your legacy, Mike? Talk to me about that.
You know, there's a quote in my book, and it's my mom's favorite quote, and it says, at the end of my life, I want to stand before God, and I want to say, I've used everything that you've given me to the best of my ability. You know, and I think about that. Like, as far as like what my legacy is, like, I want people to think, you know what, he busted his ass, he was super passionate, he was a good dude, and he really cared about putting others first in their interests and taking care of those around him. And that's all. Whether or not I was broke when I die or I was extremely rich, I mean, that's not really going to define who I am, as, you know, in my legacy. But you know, it's, as I've gotten older, I've noticed that I've become more and more focused on my passions and my dreams rather than settling for a job I hate and following someone else's dream. You know what I mean? But one thing I will mention, though, and I think this is worth mentioning, is, you know, Gary Vaynerchuk had talked about, you know, no one's ever really going to be as excited about what you're doing as you. Like, Brian and I, like, on a scale of 1 to 10 right now with this podcast, we're a 10.
Yeah.
We're probably even 12. You know what I mean? But maybe you guys listening are like at a 6 or 7. You're supportive, you think it's great what we're doing, but you're not as passionate about it because it's not your project, it's ours. So, you know, building your team with people that are truly on board, and maybe you have a lot of 6s, 7s, 8s, maybe you have some 9s that really want your dreams to come true as well, but again, no one's ever 100% going to truly be a 10 out of 10 for your dream.
Yeah, I agree. And that's, but you know, when somebody comes into your organization, or if they came onto the podcast or something of that nature, it's like, you're not going to care 100%, but if I can get you to care, you know, 60%, and the rest of the percentage, I figure out what you really want and empower you to do that, then I think you're going to win, right? And something that I loved what you talked about, you know, going in and when you approach, you know, the end of your life, you're saying, you know, most people want to get to heaven safely, or wherever you believe in safely. I choose to go in sliding in on my ass being like, that was a hell of a ride. Like, that was nuts. And I'm going to ask you to ask yourself in the mirror, am I using all of my God-given talents every single day to the best of my ability? Ask yourself that in the mirror, because I guarantee you will come up with maybe not, maybe fully not. And I don't want you to regret not using all of those talents that you've been blessed with, whatever you believe in, but you've been blessed with talents. I'm telling you, the universe or whatever it is, you have things that you need to share and get out there. So stop living other people's dreams and live yours.
And I think with what you just said, when you were describing sliding into the end of your life, I think of like the analogy for that would be like if you're in a baseball game and you connect on that last pitch and you hit it, but it's not a home run, it's off the wall. But you're sprinting around the bases and you're trying to get an in-the-park home run.
Yeah.
I want it to be an in-the-park home run, and I want to be sliding into home base, like plowing through that dude at the last minute. Like, that's it. That's all I have. Like, inside the park home run, I'm out, done. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I agree, man. And you know what that shows to me, Mike, though, is like you're not afraid of hard work. You didn't want to hit a home run and try around the bases. No, because it's not easy. The home run is not easy, man. It's
Stop
not.
yelling at me, Brian.
I know. I love this episode, and here's why. This is probably one of my favorites, just because of I am very, very. It keeps me up at night. It really, really does, to understand that some of my friends, even people that I don't know, that just randomly hit me up on Facebook, and I'm so blessed to have that and so grateful for those people. It's like when they ask me these questions, how can I get there? I don't feel like I'm as happy as I want to be. This is a key to happiness, people. These things can make you genuinely happy. I mean, if you're always settling for just the bare minimum and the hating your job and someone else's dream, if you're settling for these things, you'll never be happy. And that really sucks, and that's sad, because at the end of the day, I mean, you don't want to go not feeling as happy as you possibly can.
And I think adding to that too is when you're talking about happiness, I think that even if those that are watching or listening tried all 5 of these things but never truly succeeded at them, they would still be happier than if they accepted status quo and accepted second place in the bare minimum in a job you hate and someone else's dream. Like, trust me, like, even if you don't do that and you're struggling but you're pursuing all this stuff on your own, I personally believe that you would be much happier than actually letting these things take over your life.
I know. Regret is real. Regret is very, very real. And just imagine yourself, and you talked about this a little bit, but it's like, imagine yourself at like 90 years old, and you have all your kids and grandkids around you, and they're coming up like, Grandpapa, Grandmama, like, what did you do in your life? Like, tell me a story. Tell me something that you did that was great. And if you don't have that, the regret that will shower over you will be so painful, and I just cannot deal with that at the end of the day.
Can you imagine saying, well, little Johnny, Grandpa actually just accepted status quo. Grandpa was always second place. Grandpa never won anything. Grandpa had no work ethic. I mean, Grandpa just wanted to accept the bare minimum. Grandpa hated his job. Oh, I can't tell you how much Grandpa hated his job. I mean, think about that. That makes me sick.
It makes me sick. I know. You're doing that right now?
I'm like uncomfortable.
I think I'm going to throw up. I'm going to puke.
No, I'm afraid. But like, seriously, like putting it into that terms, yeah, that's scary. So
when you said mediocrity scares you, that's it's the same thing, same concept, but that's what scares me, is like I really, really pay attention to that, and every single day I actually think that in my head. When I think I have a fear to do something, stand up for what I believe in, going out there and doing my thing, it's like, oh my God, like, what if I don't do this? Like, I am not going to have a story at the end of this thing, and it's like, oh my God, I'm 30 years old, like, I know I still have, we don't know how long we have, but I mean, I'm thinking to myself, this is my last day on earth. I better take risks. I better do the
If
things.
you keep following my health tips for the rest of your life, okay? I mean, that's the whole point of this podcast.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But it's scary to think about, Mike. Actually, I'm terrified of that.
I mean, think about it. No, little Johnny, Grandpa never got any big trophies, but I do have a bunch of participation ribbons.
Oh, I know.
Because I got last.
Man.
You know what I mean?
You know, and then there are those people that give the advice of like, why can't you just be happy like with this or with doing this mediocre job? Why can't you just be happy with not going out and doing what you need to do? Like this grandpa that's saying little Johnny, he's gonna say that. He's like, just go get a good job and just push through it and do what you have to do. And it's like, hell no, like not what I have to do, what I want to do, Gramps.
Exactly.
Sorry, bro, but I am not. I am doing what I want to do in my life, and I choose that. I choose that. That is
right.
a choice.
Yeah, we are not born winners or losers. We are born choosers.
That's
And I
right.
say that in my book. So right there it is.
100% a choice. So, the fire, the passion through this. I actually feel worn out because of this.
And you know what? One other thing I wanted to mention.
Get into this.
No, you don't owe an explanation to anybody that is like demanding answers from you on why you want to pursue your dream or why you're doing what you do. Like, you don't owe an explanation to them. You don't need to win them over. If they're committed to misunderstanding you, then so be it. You don't owe them an explanation. If you believe in yourself and you have a team that believes in the common vision, then you just need to get to work. Like, stop trying to win over the approval of others and trying to convince them of what you're doing. You don't need to do that.
Dude, when I left my family business, I felt that I needed to try to explain that to a certain degree, and it was really hard for me. But now it's like, no, like, I know what I want. Like, I want to help people, and what that was doing was making me unhappy, and I was not helping people the way that I wanted to. And I did, and then after a certain while, I was like, you're exactly right. I don't have to explain this. I just want to help people, and that's my journey. That's why I am here on this earth. That's why I am here, and I know that's why I'm here. And you don't owe that to a single soul. You don't. This is your only shot. This is your success path, not theirs, yours.
There you go. So we'll wrap it up. So I just want to repeat our main points here for you guys to kind of digest and think about. First one was never settle for status quo. Number 2, never settle for second place. Number 3, never settle for the bare minimum. Number 4, never settle for a job you hate. And number 5, never settle for someone else's dream. Brian, tell us about the challenge this week.
Yeah, the challenge this week is, again, and I talked about this a bit earlier, but create that personal purpose, mission statement for your life. You guys, I want you to really dig deep and find out why you're here and understand why you're here. Some things you can do. Go meditate and let it permeate. Let it come up in you. You will feel it in your gut. You'll understand why you're here. And you need to write that down. And you need to say, just like I did, I want to help people. I want to help people. I want to add value to people's lives. That is why I'm here. That is my mission. And I needed to find the pathway to do that. I needed to find the vehicle to do that. And that was this podcast and my personal brand. So create that personal mission statement. Why are you here? And what makes you excited about waking up every single day?
There you go. All right, and I'm going to end this with my health tip of the week, which is most people come to me and say, Mike, what supplements should I take? And that's one of the first questions they ask. And in fact, Brian came to me and said, Mike, listen, I really need your expertise. What supplements should I take? And I said, you know what, Brian, I care about you. I think you're a good dude. I love you in a non-weird way. Okay? So here's my top 8 supplements that I believe everyone should take, male or female, young or old. And they're all based around anti-inflammation, antioxidant, and longevity. Okay, so number 1, a multivitamin that's preferably food-based or plant-based. It's a little easier to digest than the synthetic ones. CoQ10 is a very good supplement, about 100 to 200 milligrams per day. Turmeric from the spice is another good one. You can do around 500 milligrams per day. Resveratrol, which is actually found in red wine. It's the extract that's in red wine. I take about 100 milligrams of that a day. The amino acid ALA, I take about 100 milligrams. Omega-3 fish oil. Taking an omega-3 fish oil is like taking Mother Nature's ibuprofen. Very, very good at reducing the inflammation in your body. Your brain loves omega-3. Fun fact here, the number one source of omega-3 fatty acid in nature is a mother's breast milk. So I won't get into the whole breastfeeding thing, but a lot of research is showing that mothers who are capable of breastfeeding are encouraged to do so because that omega-3 fatty acid is good for the child and it stays with that child for a lifetime, which is a pretty cool fact. Vitamin D, which is not really a vitamin anymore, it's actually considered a hormone. Vitamin D helps with testosterone production in men. A lot of us don't get enough sun, so I recommend about 1,000 IUs per day. And then probably the most important one is a probiotic. Everyone has been taking antibiotics every time they get a little cold or they get sick. They take an antibiotic. It kills all the bacteria in your body and in your stomach. Now that's good and bad because it kills all the good bacteria that we need to digest the food. So probiotics are the healthy, happy bacteria that you put back into your stomach, back into your body to keep your bacteria in your stomach flourishing, which helps with your immune system and keeps you very, very healthy. And it helps you poop a lot better too.
Everybody poops. Hey, we are now on the iTunes platform. This is a big day for us. We're very excited. We're 12 episodes in now. We are on the iTunes platform, and for all you people who are out there that are listening to us, that comment, that have supported us, if you could do one favor for us, and we would be so grateful, is please subscribe, rate, and most importantly, please review. Please write a review. I mean, we will be so grateful. We're just we love this. We want to keep adding value to you guys, but please, if you guys continue to support us or want to, please subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. Look us up at the Unstoppable Pursuit podcast. I love you guys.
Please, my name's Brian. Watch us on iTunes. Thank you.
Or listen to us on iTunes. You can listen to us in your car. You can listen to us while you work. You can listen to us anywhere.
While you twerk.
While you twerk. We don't really care. This is the Unstoppable Pursuit podcast. We're pushing the help. Hey, and we'll see you all on the next episode.
Dude.